You have never been off track. You have never been lost. You've never fallen behind some cosmic schedule. You've always been exactly where the plan needed you to be, learning exactly what the plan needed you to learn. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott, and today's activation is the Advantage Method activation. We're going to reprogram your subconscious and how you respond to every moment. By undergoing this reprogramming, you will learn a specific power that is very useful in reality creation and how you respond to moments and events that come up in your life. Before we begin, I want to invite you to join the Reality Revolution tribe. You can find the link in the description. We have a community that's so amazing. I have exclusive content available. We do live meditations and group sessions on a weekly basis. We have a weekly mastermind and study sessions, and the most amazing group of people that all want to work together to help you manifest your dreams. I hope to see you there. You can find me at skool.com, skool.com/reality revolution. Right now, something extraordinary begins to happen within you. A fundamental shift in the architecture of your responses. A rewiring of the ancient circuitry that has governed your reactions for years, perhaps decades, perhaps your entire life. You're about to receive a new operating system for your consciousness. This is the Advantage Method, and it really changed everything for me. Consider for a moment how you have moved through your life until now. Something happens, an unexpected event, a disruption, a deviation from your plan. And before you even have time to think, a reaction surges through you. Your stomach tightens, your thoughts race toward the worst possible outcomes. A familiar voice in your mind begins its commentary. This is bad, this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening. That voice was installed long ago, perhaps in childhood, when you watched adults around you respond to uncertainty with fear. Perhaps through experiences that seemed to confirm that unexpected meant dangerous, that change meant loss, that disruption meant disaster. That programming runs automatically. It runs beneath your conscious awareness. It runs faster than thought itself. And here's the truth that will liberate you. That programming is not you, it is software, and software can be upgraded. The universe operates according to principles far more intelligent than the frightened reactions of your conditioned mind. There's an organizing intelligence that moves through all things, that orchestrates synchronicities, that weaves apparent setbacks into triumphs, that transforms endings into beginnings. This intelligence is always working. It never sleeps. It never forgets you. It never stops arranging circumstances for your highest good. Now, we do a lot of timeline work on my channel. If you're adjusting to a great timeline and you suddenly encounter something in your life, if you are consistent with what I'm teaching you, you have to know that it's working to your advantage, that it's moving you towards that timeline. That's hard to deal with in the moment, but everything is working to your advantage. I want you to let that land, let it settle into the deepest recesses of your being. Everything, every single thing, every moment that unfolds, every circumstance that arises, every person who enters or exits your life, every door that closes, every plan that shifts, working to your advantage, not against you, never against you, always eternally, relentlessly for you. Taking on this mindset changed my life because I would overreact to everything that happened to me. Your subconscious mind is listening now. It always listens. It cannot help but listen. That is its nature. It absorbs, it records, it incorporates. And right now, as you take in these words, new neural pathways begin to form. New connections spark into existence. New automatic responses begin to encode themselves into the very fabric of your nervous system. It's not wishful thinking. This is neuroscience. It's the plasticity of your magnificent brain responding to deliberate instruction. You are reprogramming yourself with every sentence you receive. Something wonderful is happening for you now, in this exact moment, not in some distant future, not when conditions change, not when you achieve or acquire or become something different. Now, the wonderful thing is already in motion. It began before you encountered these words. It has been building momentum, gathering force, assembling itself from countless invisible threads. Your role is simply to recognize it, to attune yourself to its presence, to stop filtering it out through the lens of conditioned pessimism. The wonderful thing is happening. Your awareness of it catches up moment by moment. Let me tell you a story, a true story, that demonstrates the advantage method in action at the highest levels of human achievement and transformation. In 1985, a 30-year-old man stood in the ruins of everything he had built. His name was Steve Jobs. 10 years earlier, at the age of 20, he had co-founded Apple Computer in his parents' garage. He had helped create the personal computer revolution. He had built a company valued at $2 billion with over 4,000 employees. He had graced the cover of countless magazines as the wonder kind of Silicon Valley. And now he was being forced out, expelled from the company that he had created, removed by the very board of directors he had assembled, including the CEO he had personally recruited. The world watched as the most public business failure of the decade unfolded. Newspapers ran headlines about his downfall. Industry analysts predicted he would never recover. Former colleagues distanced themselves. Investors wrote him off. By every reasonable metric, this was a disaster. This was the worst thing that could happen to a man who had identified so completely with his creation. Here's what Jobs himself said about the moment. Years later, I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The best thing, not a setback he eventually overcame. Not a difficulty he managed to survive, the best thing. In the aftermath of his firing, Jobs did something extraordinary. Rather than retreating into bitterness or defeat, he assumed there was an advantage in this. He started again. He founded a new computer company called Next. He acquired a small graphics division from Lucasfilm and turned it into Pixar Animation Studios. Now, during those years in the wilderness, nothing about his situation looked advantageous. Next struggled. Technology was too expensive, too niche. Pixar bled money for years before finding its footing. If you had interviewed Jobs during this period and asked him if everything was working to his advantage, the evidence would have seemed to contradict it. The stock market would have contradicted it. The press would have contradicted it. The bank account would have contradicted it. But the advantage method does not require evidence. It requires trust in an intelligence larger than the visible. Here's what actually was happening during those apparent wilderness years. At Next, Jobs was developing an operating system so sophisticated that it would eventually become the foundation for every Apple product that followed. Every iPhone, every iPad, every Mac sold in the last 2 decades. That technology could never have been developed inside Apple as it existed in the 1980s. It required the freedom of exile. At Pixar, Jobs was learning entirely new skills. He was learning patience. He was learning collaboration. He was learning how to support creative visionaries rather than always needing to be the visionary himself. Pixar became the most successful animation studio in history, producing film after film that touched hundreds of millions of people. And Jobs himself was transforming. The arrogant, abrasive young man who had been fired was becoming someone new. He fell in love, he married, he became a father, he developed capacities for tenderness and reflection that had been unavailable to him in his driven, workaholic youth. The firing did not happen to him, it happened for him. It was the universe's dramatic intervention to redirect his path toward something greater than he could have imagined while trapped in his original trajectory. In 1997, 12 years after his exile began, Apple was dying. The company had lost its way so completely that it was weeks away from bankruptcy. In desperation, the board reached out to the only person who might save it. They bought Next, bringing Jobs and his revolutionary operating system back into the fold, and Jobs returned, but not as the person who had left. He returned transformed. He returned with Pixar's success, proving his abilities in ways Apple alone never could. He returned with the technology that would form the foundation of Apple's resurrection. He returned with the maturity to build a team rather than dominate one. What followed was the most remarkable corporate turnaround in business history. The iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, which you might be holding now, the iPad, the most valuable company on earth, built by a man who first had to lose everything to become capable of building it. The narrative his conditioned mind told in 1985 was, "This is a catastrophe, this is the end, this is the worst thing that could happen." But then he believed there was an advantage. He could have simply followed with that narrative. The actual truth was that everything is working to your advantage. Something wonderful is happening for you now. This is not merely an inspirational anecdote. This is a precise demonstration of universal law. The intelligence that governs reality does not see events the way your conditioned mind sees them. It does not label experiences as good or bad, lucky or unlucky, success or failure. It sees the entire tapestry. It sees where every thread leads. It sees the magnificent pattern that emerges from what appears in any single moment to be chaos. Your conditioned mind sees only the thread directly in front of your eyes. It panics when that thread seems to go the wrong direction. It grips, it resists, it catastrophizes. The advantage method installs a new way of seeing, a new automatic response, a new default setting for your nervous system. When something happens before your old programming can activate, a new voice now speaks. Everything is working to my advantage. This is absolutely critical. If you have chosen to shift into a specific timeline, there will always be events that come up like this. Many times I see people do quantum jumps or a timeline shift. Everything's working great. Something bad happens, and then that puts them in a spiral, and they shift back to the old timeline. When all along, that unfortunate event was exactly what needed to happen to bring them into their greatest timeline. I want you to feel this truth penetrating now. Feel it seeping past your intellectual defenses, past your skepticism, past your accumulated evidence for a hostile universe. Your world, personally, specifically, intimately, taking care of you. The same intelligence that grows forests from seeds, that orchestrates the migration of birds across hemispheres, that coordinates the trillions of processes happening in your body at this exact moment without any conscious effort from you. That intelligence is focused on your well-being. It has always been focused on your well-being, every moment of your life, even the moments that seemed to prove otherwise, especially the moments that seemed to prove otherwise. Consider your own history now. Consider the times things went wrong. Consider the disappointments, the losses, the moments when life seemed to collapse around you. From this present moment, looking back, can you trace the threads? Can you see how certain endings made room for certain beginnings? Can you see how certain doors closing pushed you towards certain doors opening? The relationship that ended, did it not eventually lead you somewhere you needed to go? The job you lost, did it not create something else to emerge? The plan that failed, did it not redirect you toward a path you could not have discovered otherwise? This is not about pretending that painful experiences were not painful. The advantage method does not ask you to deny your human feelings. It asks you to expand your perspective beyond the immediate moment of pain to recognize the larger pattern at work. Everything is going according to plan. There is a plan, not a rigid, predetermined script that removes your agency and choice, but a living, responsive, intelligent movement that incorporates your choices into its unfolding, that uses every circumstance as raw material for your becoming. The plan is not diminished by your apparent mistakes. It is not derailed by your perceived failures. It is not thrown off course by the unexpected events that seem to disrupt your life. The plan incorporates everything. The plan uses everything. The plan transforms everything. You have never been off track. You have never been lost. You've never fallen behind some cosmic schedule. You've always been exactly where the plan needed you to be, learning exactly what the plan needed you to learn, experiencing exactly what the plan needed you to experience. Now feel the deepest truth settling into your cells. Things are working out perfectly, not adequately, not acceptably, not as well as could be expected under the circumstances, perfectly. With a precision and elegance that your conscious mind cannot fully comprehend. With a timing that accounts for factors you cannot perceive. With a trajectory aimed at outcomes more magnificent than you would dare to imagine for yourself. And they will continue to do so. This is not a one-time occurrence. This is not luck that might run out. This is the fundamental nature of your relationship with existence itself. Things have always been working out perfectly, even when it did not appear so. Things are working out perfectly now, even in whatever circumstances currently challenge you. Things will continue to work out perfectly through every twist and turn that lies ahead. With ease. Not through struggle and strain, not through exhausting effort and desperate grasping, with ease, with flow. With the natural grace of a river finding its way to the ocean. The installation continues now deeper and deeper. Your subconscious mind receives these truths like fertile soil receiving seeds. It does not resist. It does not argue. It simply absorbs, integrates, and incorporates. And in the days and weeks ahead, you will notice something remarkable. When events occur, small events, large events, unexpected events, your automatic response will be different than before. Where once there was immediate contraction, now there is pause. Where once there was fear, now there is curiosity. Where once there was a voice saying, this is bad, this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening, now there's a new voice, calm and certain. Everything is working to my advantage. Something wonderful is happening for me now. This new programming does not require you to force positive thinking over negative feelings. It doesn't require you to suppress or deny your authentic responses. It operates beneath that level, changing the very foundation from which your responses arise. You will still feel. You will still have moments of uncertainty, moments of challenge, moments when the old patterns temporarily reassert themselves. But underneath all of that, stable as bedrock, will be this new knowing, this new trust, this new automatic orientation toward the truth of your existence. You are supported, you are guided, you are carried by forces far greater than your individual will. The small moments are where this method reveals its power, not just in the dramatic turning points, the obvious crises, the unmistakable crossroads, but in the mundane irritations, the minor inconveniences, the tiny frustrations that pepper every ordinary day. The traffic jam, the delayed flight, the canceled meeting, the misplaced keys, the rude stranger, the technology failure, the weather change. Each of these moments is an opportunity. Each is a practice space for your new programming. When the traffic jam occurs, the old response would be frustration, tension, the narrative of time being stolen, of plans being disrupted, of the universe conspiring against your convenience. The advantage method responds differently. Everything is working to my advantage. This traffic jam is serving me in ways I cannot yet perceive. Perhaps it is protecting me from an accident that would have occurred had I been earlier. Perhaps it's giving me space to integrate a thought that will prove important. Perhaps it's delaying me just long enough to create a meeting with someone I need to encounter. Perhaps its purpose will never be visible to me and I will not understand it to trust it. This is not passive acceptance. This is active alignment with the intelligence that governs reality. Your world is taking care of you. In the small things and the large things, in the visible and the invisible, in the comprehensible and the mysterious. Every moment, without exception, your world is arranging itself for your benefit. The people who show up are meant to show up. The circumstances that are arising are meant to arise. The challenges that present themselves are meant to present themselves. None of it is random. None of it is accidental. None of it is separate from the loving intelligence that moves through all things. Feel yourself relaxing now into this truth. Feel the accumulated tension of years of resistance beginning to dissolve. Feel the exhausting vigilance of constant worry beginning to release. You do not have to hold the universe together. You do not have to anticipate every possible negative outcome and prepare defenses against them. You do not have to maintain the illusion of control over forces far beyond your control. You can rest, you can trust, you can let yourself be carried by the current that has always been carrying you, even when you believed you were swimming alone against the tide. The advantage method does not guarantee that you will never experience difficulty. It does not promise that every moment will feel pleasant. It does not suggest that you will be exempt from the universal human experiences of loss, grief, disappointment, and challenge. It offers something far more valuable than false promises of constant comfort. It offers a transformed relationship with every experience, comfortable or uncomfortable. It offers freedom from the suffering that comes not from the experiences themselves, but from the resistance to them, the rejection of them, the insistence that they should not be happening. It offers alignment with the flow of life rather than endless struggle against it. Consider again the moment of Steve Jobs' firing. The experience itself was painful, the grief was real, the fear was real, the sense of loss was real. But imagine if Jobs didn't possess this method, fully installed in his consciousness as we see how he acted. He might have wallowed in his misery. He might never have attempted to start another company. And we would not have this iPhone that we carry today. This is what you're receiving now. This is what is being installed in the depths of your being. Not a shield against difficulty, but a transformation of your relationship with it. Not an escape from challenging circumstances, but a fundamental shift in how you meet those circumstances. Your subconscious mind is vast. It holds capacities and powers that your conscious mind barely glimpses. It governs the beating of your heart, the healing of your wounds, the processing of your food. It also governs your automatic responses, your instant reactions. And it's reprogrammable, not through argument or evidence, not through force of will, but through repetition, through immersion, through the gradual installation of new patterns that eventually become as automatic as the old ones. This activation is such an installation. Each time you return to these words, the installation deepens. Each time you speak the core affirmations, the neural pathways strengthen. I have a sleep meditation designed around this affirmation, but I want you to say it with me now. Everything is working to my advantage. Something wonderful is happening for me now. My world is taking care of me. Everything is going according to plan. Things are working out perfectly and will continue to do so with ease. In the coming days, you will be tested, not because the universe wants you to fail, because it wants to give you practice opportunities. It wants to strengthen your new programming. Small things will go differently than expected. Plans will shift. They always do. And each of these moments, you will have a choice. You will feel the pull of the old programming, the familiar contraction, the automatic assumption of threat or loss. Then you will feel the new programming beginning to speak, quiet at first, perhaps uncertain but present. Everything is working to my advantage. Choose it, speak it, let it override the old voice. Because everything really is working to your advantage. Something wonderful is really happening for you now. Because your world is taking care of you. The universe has been waiting for you to recognize this, waiting for you to stop fighting against the very forces that are trying to help you. You want things, you can work toward things, you can take action, make plans, set intentions. You can do all of this while simultaneously trusting that whatever unfolds is working to your advantage, that the plan is more intelligent than your plans. This is the paradox of the advantage method. The more completely you trust, the more effective your actions become. The more you release attachment to specific outcomes, the more likely you're to achieve outcomes that truly serve you. Your programming is updating now. Feel it happening. Feel the old code being rewritten. Feel the new code being installed. This is the actual rewiring of your neural networks, the actual strengthening of new synaptic connections, the actual transformation of your brain's automatic response patterns. You are becoming someone who automatically trusts, someone who automatically looks for the advantage in every situation, someone who automatically assumes that the universe is friendly, that life is supportive, that everything is conspiring for your highest good. Remember Jobs in his moment of greatest apparent defeat, standing in the wreckage of everything he had built. Remember the 12 years that followed, the years that looked like failure. Remember what emerged at the end of those years. None of it would have happened without the firing. All of it flowed from what seemed like the worst possible outcome. Trust this, even when you cannot see it, especially when you cannot see it. Everything is working to your advantage. Let this be your mantra. Let this be your automatic response. Let this be the first thought that arises when anything unexpected occurs. Something wonderful is happening for you now, not later, not after you fix whatever seems broken, not after circumstances improve. Now, in this moment, in every moment, your world is taking care of you, personally, specifically, intimately, unceasingly, from before your birth to beyond your death. Everything is going according to plan. Plan so vast and intelligent that your conscious mind glimpses only fragments. A plan that includes every apparent detour, every seeming mistake, or unexpected turn. A plan that uses everything. Things are working out perfectly and will continue to do so with ease. Not through your strain and struggle. Through flow, through ease, through surrender to the current that already knows the way. You've received this transmission, you've been upgraded. You've been installed with new software that will run automatically beneath your conscious awareness, transforming your responses from this moment forward. The old programming will not disappear instantly, it will arise again. Especially in moments of stress, you will see it as the outdated software it is, and you will have the choice to overwrite it with the new code. Everything is working to my advantage. Say it when you wake, say it when you have challenges arise, say it when plans change, when doors close, when nothing seems to be working. Say it when everything seems to be falling apart. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it becomes automatic. Say it until you no longer need to say it because you know it in your bones. Something wonderful is happening for you now. Can you feel it? The subtle shift in the atmosphere of your being? The world is taking care of you. Has always been taking care of you. Is taking care of you in this exact moment. Everything is going according to plan. The plan that includes this activation. The plan that brought you to these exact words at this exact moment. The plan that is using this very experience to transform you into the person capable of receiving what the plan has in store. Things are working out perfectly and will continue to do so with ease. Breathe that in. Let it become the foundation of your new life. Let it be the ground you stand on, the air you breathe, the truth you live. The advantage method is now installed. It will deepen with use. It will strengthen with practice. It'll become more and more automatic until it is simply who you are. How you respond, the lens through which you perceive everything that unfolds, and from that place of installed trust, you will meet your life differently. You will respond rather than react. You will flow rather than fight. You will receive rather than resist. Everything is working to your advantage. Welcome to your advantage, to the life that's been waiting for you to recognize, to the reality that has always been working ceaselessly for your highest good. Everything is working to your advantage. Something wonderful is happening for you now. Your world is taking care of you. Everything is going according to plan. Things are working out perfectly and will continue to do so with ease, and so it is. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. You should subscribe to my second YouTube channel, The Brian Scott Musical Experience, with new songs coming out every 2 weeks. I'd love it if you checked out my art. You can find it at www.newearth.art. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.